Welcome to On Acting. This episode is about resumes.
That's right. So the resume is literally the first thing you'll need in order to get a job in any industry, really, any kind of job. But we'll be talking about the acting resume, which has a bit of a different format.
Yeah, so one of the important things to start off with is your professional name. This could be your real name or your stage name, and it's how you're going to be known in the industry.
Yeah. So you just need to be consistent with it and pick one. It's possible to change it, but it might confuse people. But the reason why there are multiple reasons why some actors would use a different name. Some it could be privacy issues, for instance. It could be because they don't like their regular name, or because they feel that they'll do better under a different name. It's also possible that you register to a union, the name's already registered. When you get into a union, you have to register a name, and if it's and it can't be spelled exactly the same way as another one, which is why there's an Emily Watson and an Emma Watson out there, right? They can't spell their names the same way because they're both registered with unions, and they need to be you need to be able to tell them apart.
Yeah. So once you finally settle on one, either by hook or by crook, stick with it, because that's part of building your brand, and the resume and going forward and everything is all part of that as well. It's the first step in getting started, and getting started with resumes and everything is all the new term that they're using is branding, and that's what we're doing with this. So when you start out, you'll take that name and you'll put it in real big letters right in the center of the page. That's one of the main things that goes on the top of the resume, and then also centered underneath your name will be your union affiliations. What I like to do, but not everybody does, because
there's a formatting differences.
Yeah, there's different formatting differences, which is a big thing. Is like I like to take pictures, 2 small pictures of myself, and put them as well. That way it leaves 2 columns on the side. The right-hand column for all your contact information along the margin, and on the left-hand column, that's where I like to put like the sizes and your details.
Yeah, so that's your personal information, which will some people, you put it in a separate section, separate from your contact information. So the name of the contact information will be first, and then the personal info. In acting, there's some specific information that you need to provide that you wouldn't have to in a different kind of industry. For instance, you need to tell them your height, your weight, your eye color, and your hair color. Even if you do include like a color headshot, these four little bits of information are important. They need to be on there. But there's a bunch of other stuff they might ask you to, like sizes, clothing sizes for the wardrobe department, in order to costume your character. And that could be anything and everything from hat size, neck size, shirt size,
glove size,
gloves, pants, inseam, shoes, hips. Anything that has to do with clothing, you need to know what all those measurements are and have them written down somewhere.
Yeah, your shirt. Yeah, for the shirt they want the neck size and the sleeve size, and for the pants they want the waist and the inseam. That's usually additional information. Yeah, and that's the top portion. Then after the top portion's concluded, then you've got the different categories as you work your way down the page. The popular or traditional way of listing it is putting the motion picture or film first, television, and then theater as you work your way down. Some people also have like a voice category or commercials category, or different categories that are listed, but depending on what you do and what you're tailoring the resume for is how you'll list those categories.
Yeah, and the simplest way to split them up would be the theater or live performance in one. Anything that's on a camera in a different section. That's because the formatting for writing down the credits is different. For example, in theater, you would write the name of the production, followed by the name of your character, followed by the production company or the director. In film, it's similar. You still start with the name of the project and you end with the production company and the director, but you don't list the name of your character. Instead, you list the importance of your character to the plot. So there are different categories that will change from market to market. But here in Ontario, in Toronto, what we do is we have an actor category, which is a very simple, it's just like one line, simple character, maybe one scene or less. Well, I guess you can have less than one scene, but and then you move on to a principal, which is a bit more important, multiple lines, multiple scenes, and then finally the lead, which is the main character, which drives the entire project. And they would split principal into two regular principal, or just principal and large principal, depending on the importance of your character.
Yeah, and then what you do is you take those different bits of information and you'll put them into the 3 columns. So you've got like column 1, 2, and 3. And I like to line up actually visually on the page all the details that I gave in the top half. I like to list the credits so that it's all smooth straight down the line. So when you're looking at the resume from a little bit of a distance, the name pops out right in the front row center at the top, and then the details falls right in line with all the different credits all the way down the page.
Yeah, again, that's a formatting thing, and it's there to make everything look clean and professional and well organized.
Yeah.
Which is, it's fairly good when on a resume, which is essentially a sheet with a bunch of text in it.
Yeah. And then the next sections, after you get like the main stuff, which will vary from place to place, like film, television, commercials, voice, live performance, theater, there's an endless amount of categories of subheadings that you could have, and then you'll adjust all that stuff. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to try to keep all the information onto one page. There are, in this one page, other categories that you can add, but they're the most flexible of the categories. And when you're first starting out, it's probably the ones that you'll have the most of. And then as you start doing more professional work, you'll want to, in order to keep the stuff all on the one page, you'll want to reduce everything else from these 2 sections, which is the training and the special skills.
Yeah. So training, at first, when you're first starting out, you don't have that many credits or any credits really. Training is going to be very important because it's where you've gotten your skills, what you've learned so far, who's taught you. You usually, and again, there are multiple formats because all this is just subjective, right? And there's multiple ways to do it.
Yeah.
But usually what you do is you want to list the name, if you took a course, the name of the course, if you apprenticed under someone, who you apprenticed with, who your teachers were, what it is they taught you, and where it is that you learned. So, for instance, I got my first training at Theatre and Company Actor Studio in Kitchener-Waterloo. So that's where I listed Theatre and Company Actor Studio and then the class itself. But at this point, I've got so much training that I can't list every single class I'm in, so I just summarize it by institution. So for instance, I have the acting studio and a list of skills that I learned from them or specific classes that I took. And then I have film school and a list of specific classes that I took there because it would be too long to list every single class and every single instructor that I had. The special skills can be a confusing subject for most people. They're not sure what to put on there. Sometimes they put a bunch of stuff that shouldn't be there or put in too much or not enough. So special skill is basically just that specific skill you have that you can perform at a professional level, essentially. So let's say if you're into archery, if you can portray a real archer on a camera, that your skills are so good you can actually play a character that is a professional archer on film, then you should write that on there. If you've got a bow, you're taking it off 2 days ago and you can barely shoot, then you're not ready to have it put on your resume. But if it's something that could potentially help you land the game or portray some sort of special character that most people couldn't, so something like sports experience with a specific sport, acrobatics,
hobbies, crafts, anything.
Yeah, and using specific tools, stuff like that. I mean, you can find advice on what to put on there, but if it's something that's gonna make you stand out that most people don't have, like for instance, I'm a cook, so I know how to handle knives, so I can do close-ups of knife work that most people wouldn't be able to do because there are specific techniques about how you use the knives. So I've got that on there. Just stuff like that. Just remember, it has to be good enough that you can perform it on camera and sell it as something that you're exceptionally good at and have been doing for a while.
Yeah, so include anything that you think can help you get work, because that's the bottom line here is the resumes and everything is to help you get hired for on-camera work. The other deal with that as well is just like you should put everything that you want to do, also be sure not to list anything that you don't want to be asked to do.
Yeah.
That's the big thing too, because like they're going to hire you, they might say, hey, it says here you can do this, you can do that. But if it's something you don't want to do, then don't list it because that'll work against you.
Yeah.
by just showing that you're not cooperative or something.
Yeah, because there are different ways of doing this. You can do it your own way, but our advice here, especially for any kind of formatting when it comes to resumes, you just look at examples online. There are multiple templates you can look at. You can look at the resumes of different professional actors, especially from your area, see how they do it, and then just figure out what you want to do and just keep trying something until you find something that works for you.
Yeah, and if you have an agent, take advantage of that and consult them, because they're usually the best ones to give you advice on how to tweak it or how to fine tune it. And because they're working in that particular area, they can really give you the best advice on what it should look like.
Yeah, they'll know what the casting directors like to see.
Yeah, and then like the final thoughts on this would be is definitely try to keep it down to one page for cleanliness. And if you did use a second page, have that be just like optional, totally optional, and only what I like to call available upon request. And then if you find yourself that you've reduced the special skills and you've reduced the training all the way down, and you still have some space on that main page, you can put this device called available upon request right on there. You can put commercials, and the reason you would want to do that for commercials and put list available upon request is in case there's any competing ads or anything. So then you can have that second optional page for somebody who really requests it and demands, oh, we want to see what commercials you did or what you want to do, because you don't want to have any kind of competing brands prevent you from getting any future work.
Yeah, it's the thing. If you manage to book a commercial and it's an important one for a big company, companies that are competing for them won't want you to be in their commercials, but they will ask you this at the audition. Usually they have you fill out a form at the audition where they say, do you have any competing brands? And then you list them, and then they'll take a look at them and decide from there if they want you in their commercial or not, if they're going to audition you.
Yeah, so it's a good thing to, just like I say, keep in mind, even though that there's multiple formats that you can use, that you'll want to settle on one that you like, and then always, because you need to hone your resume for each job as well, you'll want to play around with the different sections, what goes where, what makes the first page, and then what should be available upon request based on the jobs and the feedback that you're given. Yeah. Okay, that's it then for this episode of Resumes. Then we think we told you what you need to know to get started. Again, the basics and our recommendations. We're going to post also our resumes while we're talking here. We're going to have examples, both Alex's and my resume, that you can look at and see.
Yeah, and I mean, the main thing here is to keep it simple, keep it neat, keep it professional, don't lie about anything. Make sure the information is accurate and up to date. And there's no need to, like, if you've booked a lot of gigs and you're getting a lot of work, there's no need to like burden your resume with a bunch of stuff. You don't have to list everything, right? At some point, if you have too much stuff to list and you wanted to keep it concise, you can move into selected credits. Some actors actually prefer to list selected credits, and then you just pick a curated section of a curated selection of credits that you have. And actors like it because when someone sees the term selected credits, they're not sure how many other credits have been omitted.
Yeah.
So it can mean anything. But it's a good way to keep the amount of information you have there short. Like any resume, you have to find a balance between providing the information and keeping it short and concise. And you can go either way. Some people like seeing a huge list of everything you've done because it gives them an idea of what your career is like. Some people just want a couple selected credits and want to just look at it, get a quick idea of who you are, and move on.
Yeah. All right, so that does it for now. Thanks for watching this episode, and you can like, comment, or also write us at onacting101@gmail.com if you have any. If you want to know more, if you want to know our advice about yours, if you want us to talk about more of the stuff for you.
Yeah. You can also leave comments, concerns, and questions in the comments section of this video, or send us a private message through YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We'll be posting more videos about advice, and we'll be addressing any questions or concerns you may have as we receive them.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.